in their responsibilities, their authorities, and how they contribute to the success of a project. Next, we will talk about the project management career, uh, highlighting the opportunities, challenges, and growth that come with pursuing a career in this project management field. And definitely, it's an exciting and definitely dynamic career path that and that's why we have to look at the skills and experiences that can help us to succeed if we pursue project management as our career. So next, we will also cover the special demands on the project manager, focusing on the unique challenges that are faced by those in this role. And project managers must move around the complex environments. Definitely, they need to manage the diverse teams and meet the specific tight deadlines. So, definitely, at the same time, they need to balance different, that is, multiple priorities. So, lot of requirements or special demands are there on the project manager. We will try to unfold all this. And finally, we will look at the attributes of effective project manager. That is what should be the criteria, what should be the qualities that make a project manager truly successful. At the same time, we will discuss about the key traits like leadership, communication, problem solving skill, and why these skills are essential for managing projects effectively. So, at the end of this class, I hope you will have a moderate, not a deeper, rather a moderate understanding of these important topics in project management and how these issues actually shape the success of any projects. So, let's get started. So, the first topic is functional manager versus project manager. Can you see the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, functional manager versus project manager. Before starting discussion on these issues, once again, uh, I want to instruct you one thing, that is, some of the issues I will give you to for your self study, because these are pretty much monotonous to discuss. For example, the project management institutes. Uh, the slide includes, like you can see here, project management certifications, project management institute. So that would be your responsibility to study by yourself. Okay, so I'm just going through the basic issues. Firstly, the difference between the functional manager and the project manager, or you can say the functional manager versus the project manager. So hope we do understand who is a functional manager. Definitely, a functional manager is an individual who is basically responsible to oversee a particular department or function within an organization. Basically, they are expert in their particular areas like finance, marketing, human resource, operations, and all. So, their primary role is to manage and lead a team of specialists who carry out tasks related to the specific functions. So, each and every functional department within an organization must have their own target or goal or objectives. So, a functional manager is basically responsible to coordinate the whole department, including the soft and hard resources, to achieve the target, to achieve the goal. And at the same time, functional managers must keep in mind that the departmental goals or objectives are properly aligned with the organization's overall goals and objectives. It must be aligned with the strategic goals of the organization. So, for example, a marketing manager, as a functional manager, uh, uh, must must maintain all the marketing activities like advertising, campaigns, market research, branding, and all these things. And at the same time, the uh, uh, management of marketing teams. All these are the responsibilities of the marketing managers to handle. And at the same time, he has to take care of the overall activities of his department, because he need to comply with the overall strategic objectives, strategic goals of the organization. So finally, we can say that functional managers is responsible for specific functions within a company, and he has to ensure that the department operates efficiently and meets its objectives, and definitely contributes to the overall success of the organization. So hopefully we do understand who is a functional manager. That is, departmental heads are called the functional manager. Typically, they are called the functional managers. So, as we are trying to compare the functional managers and the project managers, how they differ, uh, what are the points of difference? Actually, the role of a functional manager is definitely crucial for any organization, particularly organizations those who follow the traditional or the departmentalized structure. So, if we give a look on the features or key aspects of the functional manager's role, definitely we see a functional manager is a specialist in his area. So, functional managers are basically experts in specific areas or department like finance, marketing, as I said earlier. So, they must have in depth knowledge and technical expertise related to their function. And that expertise basically allows them to make well informed decisions, uh, prompt problem solution, and definitely at the same time, these qualities, this expertise, this knowledge helps them to deliver high quality work in their specialized domain. So definitely functional managers are specialized in their particular area. Okay, this is the first point. Secondly, functional managers uses the analytical approach. That is, instead of intuition, instead of imagination, instead of any sacred observation, rather the functional managers always go through the systematic approach, analytical approach. Okay, in case of problem solving, in case of decision making, because they focus on data, processes, and the systematic method to optimize their performance in their department. For example, uh, marketing manager, that is the head of the marketing department, when they do the sales forecast, sales prediction, they do not depend on the hypothesis. Rather, they focus on the past data. That is the data of last 3 months sales, last 6 months sales, and based on that, they find out the figure of the next 3 to 6 months. Definitely, along with this data, they consider all other internal and external factors, environmental factors, but still, they mostly depends on data. That is their basic nature. And this analytical approach helps them to identify the inefficiencies, particularly specifically inefficiencies, and where improvement is necessary. That gap, that scope is also uh, uh, the functional managers can find out through this analytical approach. And not only finding all these things, at the same time, very systematically, very positively, the functional manager utilizes their team to address that gaps, to address that deviations, and to rectify them. and to maintain, and finally maintaining the organizational standards and goals. And after that, if we focus on the third major criteria or aspect of a functional manager, that is, he or she is a direct technical supervisor. Why he or she is called the direct technical supervisor? Can you guess? Can you guess why they are called the direct technical supervisor?
Because ma'am, they're specialists. That's why.
Exactly. As they are specialists, they have knowledge and expertise in their particular field. If we do consider the organizational hierarchy, so a fresher cannot be the head of a particular department. To be a to be the head of a particular department, a person must need some experience. We can quantify the experience by the number of years that he is experiencing these activities, experiencing these functions. So based on that, definitely we can say what's the problem? আমি পরে কথা বলছি আমাকে সরি না আমি জাস্ট মিনিট আমি আমি ক্লাস শেষ করে পরে কথা বলছি ঠিক আছে Okay. So whatever, I was talking about the supervision of the functional managers. As they are technically expert, they are specialized in their field and area, and to be a lead, to be the leader of a functional department, it takes time. So after having that experience, a person becomes the leader of a particular department. So he's not a simple leader. Rather, he should be the hands-on leaders. Hands-on leader means he must have the technical expertise to follow up the day-to-day operations of their team. Okay, so they must ensure that the tasks are completed correctly and efficiently, and the supervision often involves giving their team members the technical guidelines, mentoring the team members, and ensuring that their target, standard, and deadlines are met. So, without the observation, without the involvement, and without the experience and the engagement of the functional manager, definitely the target or the objective of the particular department will not be completed. So, here the role of a functional manager, that is the head of the department, is very much crucial for the achievement of the overall organizational goal. And last of all, if we focus on the last point of difference, that is the functional managers maintain control over their personnel. Definitely, it's a must. Functional managers definitely in their ongoing operations, they maintain, they coordinate, they disseminate, and they do mentoring and manage their team members, but not this is the all about. Rather, in case of hiring, training, task assignment, and setting the performance standard and maintaining the performance each and everywhere, the interference of a functional manager is a must. Got my point? The functional managers must maintain control over their personnel in terms of hiring, training, assigning tasks, even in case of their performance and talent management. They should be responsible for managing the career development of their team members too. That is, they must give priority to the high skilled high skilled employees of their team, and they must give proper support to their team members to perform their jobs effectively. So, at the end of the project, or at the end of the task, that is after task is completed, definitely the functional manager will evaluate the team performance, and functional manager will provide the feedback to their team members so that they can improve and they can promote their status. So basically, why I'm talking about this, these are pretty much familiar to you. You know better. That is, what are the functions of a functional manager as a head of department, as a head of region, as a head of a particular area, definitely they are responsible, and at the same time they are qualified to do all these things. But still, I am recalling all these points just to give a simple, small reminder about the critical role that are played by the functional managers for the smooth operation of their department as well as of the whole organization. Got my point? So, if we compare the functions of a functional manager with the project manager, so definitely we can focus on these 4 to 5 points importantly, because the role of the project manager and the functional managers are almost same, but the area is quite different, because we know project manager's responsibility is completely lied on the project management, that is from planning to execution of a particular project. And this is a one-stop program in case of project, but in case of functional management, definitely that is a continued process. At কতবার বলবো বাবা? Please. Sorry. Just a minute. আমাকে একটু সময় দেন, আমি একটু সরি, বাসায় বসে অনলাইন ক্লাস করতে গেলে অনেক সময় একটু সমস্যা হয়। যাই হোক, ডোন্ট টেক ইট আদারওয়াইজ। আমার নিজেরই কনসেন্ট্রেশন ব্রেক হচ্ছে বারবার। হোপ ইউ আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড। So whatever, I was talking about the project manager. So the area of function of a project manager and a functional manager is different in one sense, because project managers basically handles the temporary endeavors uh, with a defined start and end date, with the specific or limited resources, with specific targets and all. But in case of functional manager, definitely he need to continue, he need to run the department for the perpetual period of time, because our organization itself is an ongoing process. So definitely project manager's role and the functional manager's role are quite different. But still, who is a project manager? We do understand, because we have already talked about the basic issues of project management. Still, I'm repeating uh, the definition, the concept of project manager. Definitely, project manager is a professional who is responsible for planning, for executing, and to take care of the overall specific project within an organization. One thing we should keep in mind when we talk about project management or project, it's not about it should be the outside of the organization. Within the organization, so many tasks we can do through the project management. Got my point? For example, you want to introduce a new product line, even you want to hire a particular specialized team for a particular event. So in all cases, you can take help of project management. That is, instead of keeping on the mainstream of the organizational activities, you can separate that particular task to the task like an event management, so that the regular activity of the organization is not hampered. So whatever, as I said, a project manager as a professional, he will plan, he will execute, he will monitor, and he will oversee the overall activities of a particular project. The primary role of any project manager is to ensure that the project is completed on time, as there are three important factors there. One is the scope, second is the time, and third is the budget or the resources. So he must maintain all these things. That is, he must meet the required scope and quality standard. He must complete the project within the time, within the budget. So that is the basic limitation or the borderline of any project manager. Unlike the functional manager, who oversees the ongoing operations within a particular department, a project manager handles just a short-term temporary activity or endeavors. Got my point? So if we characterize the function of a project manager, first of all, we must say project managers are generalists. Unlike the functional managers, those who are specialized in the particular domain, but project managers need a broad knowledge base about and the ability to work across various disciplines. Okay, because they must have the leadership quality, they must have the knowledge about the hands-on activities, he must have the technical aspects, he must have the team dynamism, must understand the team dynamism, he must understand the financial issues, financial terms, constraints, and financial analysis. And at the same time, which is a must, he must understand the customers or the client's expectation. Okay. So here's the big difference between the functional manager with the project manager. That is, functional manager must be expert in his field, but a project manager need not to be an expert in a particular field. Rather, he must have the knowledge of all aspects to manage a particular project. Am I clear? That is, from resource allocation for planning. If I say sequentially, then just sorry, বারবার interruption হচ্ছে. So what I was talking about, yes. Uh, so the project managers are basically the generalists because they need to have idea of each and every aspects of a particular project rather than having a very in-depth specialized knowledge about some functional issues. So next, if I talk about the user systems or synthesis approach, what does it mean? Actually, it means that uh, in case of a project manager, actually I'm still out of Dhaka. ঢাকার বাইরে আছি, অন দ্য ওয়েতে আছি, এটাই হচ্ছে ঝামেলা। আমি ক্লাসটা নিচ্ছি আমার ফোন থেকে, আর বারবার একটু সমস্যা হচ্ছে। ডোন্ট টেক ইট আদারওয়াইজ, একটুখানি কোঅপারেট করতে হবে। ঠিক আছে? আমাকে শুনতে পাচ্ছেন সবাই? ওকে। এই জন্য বারবার একটু ইন্টারফারেন্স হচ্ছে, ডোন্ট টেক ইট আদারওয়াইজ।
Yes, madam. Okay, madam.
ওকে, ঠিক আছে, থ্যাংক ইউ। আমি চেষ্টা করছি যতটা নয়েজ রিমুভ করে কথা বলা যায়, বাট আমার নিজেরই কনসেন্ট্রেশন বারবার ব্রেক করছে। যাই হোক, জাস্ট একটু স্কিপ করি এটা আমরা। হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে, ওকে। আচ্ছা, হোয়াট এভার, কি নিয়ে কথা বলছিলাম? ইয়েস, project managers uses systems approach. What is system actually? System, when we talk about system, basically it indicates that there will be some steps, there will be some input output process. That is, for example, organization is a system where we take the inputs from the environment, and definitely we process or transform that inputs within the organization. After that, we deliver the output to the environment again. So organization is highly tied up with the environment. In case of project management, definitely project managers use the system approach too, because in case of the project manager, the project is the whole. Am I clear? The project itself is a system. Instead of thinking the organization as a system, the project managers consider the project as a whole. So that's why that system have some interconnected elements like environments. As I said about the organization, environment is the most important element that every organization has. Why? Because organization doesn't exist in a vacuum. So environment is the main element, main factor from where the organization receives the inputs and delivers the outputs. Like project managers also consider the project as a whole system, and that's why they have interconnectivity with some different elements. Am I clear? And all these interconnected elements must work together smoothly if the project manager want to get the project done effectively and efficiently. So that's why project managers always focuses on the integration of all the pieces, all the factors, all the elements of the project, like team members, task, time, scope, resources, objectives of the event, objective of the project, and all these things. And definitely they have to make sure that all these factors of these elements work coordinatedly, interdependently, and aligned effectively. So definitely project managers constantly assess how each part of the project impacts the overall system. That's why continuous project evaluation is a mechanism to monitor a project activities that we will definitely discuss in detail later on. But you must keep in mind that is when you are starting a particular project, it requires a continuous monitoring of the progress of the project to see whether it is how it is impacting the overall system, that is how it is impacting on the overall project, and definitely on the overall organization, so that it can better adapt it with the strategies of the overall organization. So system approach or synthesis, আমার কথা জড়িয়ে যাচ্ছে somehow জার্কিং এর জন্য, system approach or synthesis approach, whatever we say, basically it requires a very systematic approach of designing, executing, and monitoring the project so that it can grab the expected return, expected result from the project. So that's why project managers are mostly calculative. For example, functional managers sometimes for decision making, they depends on some intuition, say they depends on some imagination, they depends on some experience. But so hypothetical decisions are sometimes made by the functional managers, but in case of project manager, there is no scope of making hypothesis, no scope of making imagination. Rather, they are very much calculative in all aspects, in all areas of their project implementation. Got my point? Whether they need to continuously monitor the activities of their team members. The team members must enjoy the independence. That is, micromanagement shouldn't be put on this on maintaining the team members. Micromanagement, I hope you do understand, that is monitoring and interfering in each and every aspects of the team members. মানে টিম মেম্বাররা যাই করছে প্রত্যেকটা কাজে খুব too much interference is called micromanagement. So sometimes micromanagement is injurious for the team members' moral and their spirit. So that's why একজন project manager definitely monitor each and every activities, but keeping in mind so that they can make balance of each and everything more effectively. That is, they need to understand the limitation. Am I clear? Because the project managers do not have the positional power. Got my point? They are responsible only to execute the particular project. So his area of responsibility as well as authority is quite limited, not broader like the functional manager. Got my point? So that's why most of the time in almost project managers do follow the system approach, where they try to capture different inputs from different areas, and that areas is basically that area includes the organizations only, because they collect all the resources from the organization and they deliver the output of their projects to the organization. And their ambition, their target is to see whether their outcome, that is the project outcome, is fully compliant with the organizational overall activities, overall expectations. Okay. The next aspect of a project manager, that is, he or she is a facilitator. That is, as the project manager has the responsibility to coordinate all the resources, definitely he plays the role of a facilitator, because he ensures the effective communication and collaboration with all the stakeholders, like team members, like the organizational members. And if the clients of that project is from the outside of the organization, in that case, he is responsible to communicate, to interconnect, to connect with that external members too. So they don't typically control every task directly, but they guide their team to remove the obstacles, they try to provide the supports when the team members need, and they try to ensure that everyone has what they need to succeed. Got my point? So from that point of view, definitely project manager's role is like a facilitator, like a mentor, and like a coach. Got my point? Whose responsibility is to coordinate, to support, not to give punishment, not to make judgment of all the activities. Rather, their most important role is to be a facilitator instead of being a boss. Got my point? Like the functional managers, because when you are working in a particular department, definitely you must have some peers. If you fail to fulfill the target, if you fail to complete your task on time, definitely your boss can give you punishment. But in case of project management, there is no scope of punishment, because anyhow within the time frame, definitely you have to complete the task. So that's why project managers are very much optimistic, and they try to guide, coach, motivate their team members. They try to give wholehearted support, whether it is support of resources, whether it is support of time, whether it is a moral support. In all cases, project manager try to project managers try to help their team members so that they get a very positive environment. They feel encouragement to participate in the project activities, and definitely they work together effectively so that they can achieve their shared objectives. If next criteria we should consider, that is the fear of micromanagement. As I said just few minutes ago, that is the project manager's main challenge is to avoiding the micromanagement. Project manager definitely is the coordinator of all the works of the diverse teams. They need to trust their team members when they are assigning. When the project manager is assigning any task to the particular members of his team, he must trust his team members. Am I clear? Micromanagement is just opposition of the trust or the relationship with the members. Am I clear? So micromanagement definitely hampers the productivity. It definitely lowers the team morals, their courage, and definitely ultimately the activities, the project progress can be slowed down. So that's why project managers always try to avoid the micromanagement. Instead of doing that, project managers should, or normally project managers empower their team members. Project managers initially explains and clarifies his expectations and give full freedom to their team members to execute their responsibilities, still while still monitoring the overall progress. And definitely he offers the guidelines, coaching, and technical supports when they need it. So this is the thing. Project managers always have the fear of micromanagement. That is, they try to avoid the micromanagement. But in case of functional managers, they are very much adapted with the micromanagement, because they need to focus each and every activity of their employees. Got my point? In case of project management, we say the project leader and or the project manager and the team members in case of project, because project itself is a group effort. Am I clear? This is a teamwork, this is a group effort. But in case of functional manager, basically, traditional management system, the structural management system is followed there. So that's why there the relationship is not like a team. Rather, the relationship in most of the cases is like the boss and subordinates. So that's why micromanagement is a factor which is quite present in case of functional management, but it should be absent in case of project management. And lastly, negotiate with functional managers for specific tasks. This is the point where our project managers need to comply with the functional managers, because for getting the resources, for getting the right personnel for the project managers negotiates with the functional managers. For example, who would be the team members? What kind of people actually the project manager needs to accomplish the task? So that's why the demand, the requisition is made by the project manager to the functional manager, and functional manager's responsibility here is to control the employees, uh, to support the projects within their departments. So these are the few areas where actually, oh yes, in case of, for example, if any of the employee fails to perform accordingly, in that case, the functional manager has the right to give punishment. Whatever the punishment is, it can be pay cut, it can be demotion, it can be firing, and all, giving negative feedback, negative appraisal. But in case of project management, the project managers are not assigned to do all these. Rather, project managers, when they find that their team members are not working accordingly, they have opportunity to change the members. And to change the members, definitely project managers talk with the functional managers to get the right person. And here the functional manager's responsibility is to provide the appropriate employee or appropriate support to the project manager, keeping his departmental regular activities smooth. Got my point? That is the crucial point for the functional managers and the project managers. So these are the some of the key points that can differentiate the role of the project manager and the functional managers. But both are responsible, highly responsible. Both are qualified in their particular areas, because if you don't have the specialized knowledge in the field, so definitely you will not be the functional manager. And at the same time, if you are not expert and experienced in project management, so you will not be the leader of a project. So both requires specialized knowledge and experience, but in general field and the specific field. That is the main difference between a functional manager and a project manager. Next, if we focus on the project management career paths, you can see. So before talking about these career paths, definitely you can see a small case, a small story is attached here. You can see. I'm going to read it out. Eli Lilly and Co., the pharmaceutical firm, finds that projects involving new drugs often last 8 to 12 years. No project manager would be willing to manage a project that long without the opportunity for promotion. Lilly therefore has established a career path for their project managers that potentially leads to the top of the firm. They already had career paths progressing through administration or research and development to the top, and have clearly demonstrated the reality of both paths. Basically, in case of project management, or in case of a project, we do understand the role of the team leader, that is the project manager, and the role of the team member. So there are two parties, two parts, human parts of this, of in case of project, that is the team leader, that is the project manager, and the team members. But in between these two positions, that is, one is leader and another part is the follower. In between this leader and follower, some other career paths is created. Why? The reason is here. For example, in case of some projects, it takes too much time. So most of the cases, project managers are not interested to continue that project for this long time because it's a very stuck position. You are working as a project manager for last 10 to 15 years. This is a very stuck position. As it is a stuck position, definitely sometimes this position is very much contractual. If the event is outside the organization, that is the different thing. But in case of, because in that case, the relationship is somehow contractual. For example, you have to complete the task, that is, you have to complete the project, and you will be the project manager. Your financial benefits and all other supports will be like this. So, as it is contract based, if you are convinced, you can enter into the contract, but if you are not convinced, you can avoid it. That opportunity you have. But in case of the internal project management, the internal organizational members becomes the project leader, project manager. So your colleagues are getting promotion in every 3 to 4 years, but as you are the project manager of a particular project, but your position is quite stagnant for a long time. You are stuck in the project. So you are financially becoming the loser. You are not getting the expected career growth in your position. So that actually influence your personal career growth. So that's why the demand, the requires, that's why the demand and the requirement for the project management career paths arises. You can see here there are some phases, there are some stages of the project management career paths from team members to ultimately the project managers. What does it mean? It means that when you are starting your career as a project manager, in project management, so initially you will not be the full project manager. Rather, you have to be the team member. You have to be the team member, then you will be the small project leader, then you will be the project engineer, then you will be the manufacturing manager, probably, as I'm quoting the case here. So according to that case, you will be the manufacturing manager. After that, you will be the deputy project manager, then you will be the full project manager, and finally you will be the full project manager for the large projects. What does it mean? That is, like any other career path, you have to start as a fresher, and finally when you are experienced and knowledgeable enough about the project management, then you will be the full project manager of the large projects, like the CEO of any business organization. Got my point? Like the director of any business organization, like the vice president of a financial institution, like the general manager of a banking institution. You will get the full designation. But before that, you have to start as a team member, like officer, cash, in case of banking institution. So the project management career path is not a stagnant position. This is not a stuck position. Rather, it's a very progressive journey where the professionals require starting from the entry level roles to more advanced leadership position. Got my point? So at the initial stage, you can start your career. You can start your activity in project management as a team member. So as a team member at the very start of your career as a team member, uh, your position, according to your position, you maximum can contribute to the project under the direction of more experienced team leaders or the project managers. That is, you have to work under the project managers. Am I clear? So team members, as a fresher, as a team member, you should be responsible for the specific task or components of a project, not the whole, not the broader. Rather, you will be assigned a particular specific small level of task so that you can learn more. Got my point? And in that phase, that when you are working as a team member, by this time you will understand how to collaborate with all the team members, how to be collaborative with the project activities. You will be collaborative with the with your team leaders, you will understand how to manage your individual tasks. And definitely one important thing you will learn in this phase, that is the basic project documentation, that is how to document the total activities of a particular project, that is the designing, planning, all these things actually you will start understanding when you are working as a team member, as this is the entry level of project management career. And after that, when you will get experience, definitely you will be allowed to be the small project leader, that is small projects can be allotted. For example, you will be you will be allowed to arrange a particular business event in your organization. If I talk about the internal organizational project, so you will be allowed to arrange a particular crucial commercial event for the organization. So as you are experienced, you worked as a team member in your earlier career, so you do understand how to design, how to document, how to make the plan, and then execute the project. Though it's a very small, but still, as you have developed your leadership quality, you do understand how to allocate the resources, you do understand how to plan. As you see all these things being closer to the project managers when you were working as a team member. So when you are the small project leader, so automatically some skills will be developed within you, that is leadership skill, planning and managing the relationships with the team members and with the clients of that particular projects. So after getting all this experience, you can shift to the next position like project engineer. One thing you must keep in mind, as this classification of the career paths is based on the case that I have given here, according to your textbook. So these are the title, these are the name of that positions in the career paths of a project managers. But in reality, the names, the titles, the designations can be different. For example, in every cases, in every projects, the hierarchy of the small project leader, the project engineer, the manufacturing managers may not be the same. Got my point? But there must be some hierarchy. There must be some leader based on the knowledge and experience of working in a project. Got my point? So in this way, you can see the next positions are project engineer. So definitely when you are working as a project engineer, definitely you will learn how to solve the technical problems of any project. If there is any problem, if there is any contingency, how to solve that problem, that expertise will be developed when you are working as a project engineer. When we talk about engineering, it doesn't mean that you are the mechanical engineer. Rather, engineering means the technologist. Technology means the ideas, the way outs. Got my point? The approaches, the methods. So when you are solving the problems, that is, you are doing engineering in problem solving. Got my point? When there is any conflict in organization, when there is any conflict within the team members, so if you are allowed, if you are responsible to mitigate or solve that conflicts among the team members to run the project, so in that case you have to use some methods. So that methods also includes with the project engineering. প্লিজ মিউট yourself, otherwise কেউ কিছু বলছেন? Do you have any query, Nadia? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So these are the things. So project engineering can be the next step of the career path, like that manufacturing managers, deputy project managers, full project managers of the small projects, and finally you will be the full project manager of the large projects. You to better understand in every phases of this career path, you will develop some skills within yourself, and you will be more confident and knowledgeable, and that's why the ultimate position will be the full project manager of the large projects. Then you are actually belonging to the top tier management of any organization. That is the value of this position, that is full project managers of large project. It actually indicates you are tied up with the top management of any business organization. তার মানে যে কোনো বিজনেস অর্গানাইজেশনের টপ টায়ার ম্যানেজমেন্টে যারা থাকেন তারাই আসলে এরকম ফুল প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজার হতে পারেন যে কোনো লার্জ প্রজেক্টের। আপনি মানে আপনার অর্গানাইজেশনের ক্ষেত্রেও দেখেন, if the project is huge in that sense যে এখানে রিসোর্সেস অনেক, এখানে টাইমের একটা ব্যাপার আছে, স্কোপ ইজ very much specific and broad, that is একটা অর্গানাইজেশনের সাকসেস, ভ্যালিউর গ্রোথ, ইচ এন্ড এভরিথিং ইজ রিলেটেড, হাইলি রিলেটেড উইথ দ্যাট প্রজেক্ট। সেই ক্ষেত্রে সেই ধরনের প্রজেক্টের ম্যানেজার কিন্তু কোনো এন্ট্রি লেভেল, মিড লেভেল কোনো ম্যানেজার বা কোনো স্টাফকে দেওয়া হয় না, রাদার দ্য টপ লেভেল ডিরেক্টলি বিকাম ইনভলভ ইন দ্য committee in the project. So that's why যখন we can be the full project managers particularly for the large projects, it indicates that this is the ultimate hierarchical position of our career path. যেমন আপনি cashier officer দিয়ে শুরু করলেন, so finally you become the general manager of a particular bank. So this is the career path, like that. As you are starting as a team member, but ultimately you are becoming the full project manager and you are operating the large projects. Large doesn't mean the resources and all these things, scopes are only large or huge. Rather, it's very much critical, crucial for the organization's growth, organization's sustainability and profitability. Got my point? This project may influence the organization's long-term sustainability. In that case, you are allowed, you are assigned that project. It means that you are belonging to the top tier management of any organization. So basically, if we think, if we are thinking about shifting our career, if we are thinking about starting our career, in that case, project management can be an option. Am I clear? And like any other profession, like any other career path, project management itself some specific career path. There is no stagnancy. There is nothing about to be stuck in a particular position. That is, you are starting your job as a project manager and you are getting a particular salary with a little bit increment in every year, and you are ending your job becoming a project manager having the same status. This is not like that. There is a ladder. Got my point? There is a hierarchy. So you can select your career as a project manager. That is option. So you can see this is the project management certification. Project management certification. So very genuine question, whether project management is a profession. Is project management profession? For example, engineering, physician, psychologist, advocacy, human resource management, project management. I have mentioned few options. Out of this, do you think that project management is a career? Project management is a profession? What's your opinion? For example, you are a chartered accountant. You have completed CPA. So your skill, your intelligence, and your scope of work is over the world. Anywhere of the world, you will get job. Because CA or CPA is a certified profession. It has acceptance in everywhere. But if you are a human resource manager, do you think you are equally accepted in every country? As a project manager, you are equally accepted over the world in every country. For example, you work as a project manager, you have completed your duty, you are working as a project manager in a particular organization, and after that, the next experience, you will be equally treated anywhere in the world. Do you think that project management is a profession? কি মনে হয়? আমাকে শুনতে পাচ্ছেন?
particular position.
Yes. From that point of view, from the point of view of acceptance of the word, definitely project management is not a profession. Am I clear? When you talk about profession, that means that it will be equally accepted in everywhere. Sometimes we make confusion between the career and the profession. Yes, project management can be your career, but it's not a profession. Why? Because it doesn't have the word why accepted professional degrees and certifications. Am I clear? But still, some organizations are providing project management certifications. And these are acceptable with the word, but not commonly, not equivalent. What my point? So you can see some project management certifications like PMI, project management professionals, like CFPM, certified associate project management. What my point? So I want to talk about these certifications because the different organizations of different countries are providing these certificates. So you have a task, you have a responsibility. That is, you have to describe these different project management certifications, including their features, requirements, and benefits provided by the professionals in pursuing project management career. What my point? Please note it down. Note it down. Here I have mentioned 7 certifications of project management. Okay. These are the definitions. These are the certificate programs running over the world in different countries. Like you can see some project management institutions. Here is a list of few institutions that are providing the project management certificates. So the requirement might be featured, the requirements and the benefits of all these project management certificates and the features, criteria, and all of these project management institutes that you have to do the self-study. What you have to research and describe the roles, importance of these project management institutions, including detail about the certificate program they offer, the benefits of the membership. If you after completion of the particular certification from this particular institute, what benefits you will get as a member of the project management institute, how these institutions support their professionals develop their idea in project management. So these two styles are the responsibility of yours to go into India. But fine, our contribution right. Yes. Even I can cover this in your midterm exam. যদি আপনাদের মনে হয় once again I can mention, you can write it down. I mean like এটা আমাদের প্রধান certification অথবা project management institute এগুলোর উপরে যদি প্রশ্ন করতে চাই. If I want to make a question on these areas, so what is the type of question? কেমন প্রশ্ন করব আমি? তার প্রশ্নগুলো এমনি হবে. For example, in the case of the project management certification, I must ask about the features, the requirements, and the benefits of that these certificates. আবার বলছি কি ফিচার্স মানে সার্টিফিকেশনের জন্য কি করতে হবে আমাদেরকে, ঠিক আছে? কি রিকোয়ারমেন্টস আছে? ফর এক্সাম্পল কোনো particular program. For example, আমি বলছি যে এটা PMI project management professional, ঠিক আছে? To be a project management professional, that is if you want to get the certificate of project management professional, PMP. So definitely you must have 3 to 5 years experience of working as a project manager. তারপরে 3 থেকে 5 বছরের অভিজ্ঞতা যদি আপনার না থাকে project management কাজ করা, তাহলে you will not get project management professional certificate. What? So that is the thing. So প্রত্যেকটা certificate কি requirement আছে? আপনার eligibility কি হবে? ঠিক আছে, মানে লাগবে, academic background কি হতে হবে, ঠিক আছে, job experience লাগবে কিনা, কখনো ট্রেনিং করবে চাচ্ছে কিনা, যেমন আপনাকে অ্যাটলিস্ট 3 আওয়ার আমরা রিপিট কথা বলে আমরা 35 আওয়ার ট্রেনিং এক্সপেরিয়েন্স থাকতেই হবে অন প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্ট। দিস আর দ্য রিকোয়ারমেন্টস। সো এরকম রিকোয়ারমেন্টস গুলো কি আর আপনি যদি সার্টিফিকেট আপনি পেয়ে যান, ঠিক আছে, আপনার ফিলিং দ্য ক্রাইটেরিয়া রিকোয়ারমেন্টস এন্ড জয়েনিং দ্য ট্রেনিং প্রোগ্রাম, so after that you get the certificate. So how that will be very crucial in your career, so that you have this stuff. So our area like the future requirements are the results of this certificate, ঠিক আছে, এগুলো একটু দেখবেন, ঠিক আছে। আমরা যদি ইনস্টিটিউটের কথা বলি তাহলে ডেফিনেটলি these are the few institutions mentioned here, যেমন শুরুতে আছে অস্ট্রেলিয়ান ইনস্টিটিউট অফ ম্যানেজমেন্ট AIIM, ঠিক আছে। So definitely the professional association also management is Australia, এবং dedicatedly they work to develop those management skill to support the professionals in this particular field. So তারা কিন্তু শুধুমাত্র যে professional certificate তাই নয়, they offer different kinds of resources, they offer the support working profile, যেমন আপনি যদি অস্ট্রেলিয়ান ইনস্টিটিউট অফ ম্যানেজমেন্ট থেকে সার্টিফিকেশন করেন তাহলে তারাই দেখবে যে আপনি বিভিন্ন ক্লায়েন্টকে রেফার করবে অ্যাজ এ রেফারেন্স that you will get from this institute. So এইরকম আরো কয়েকটি ইনস্টিটিউটের নাম আছে। So এই ইনস্টিটিউটগুলি সার্চ করবেন, research and describe the role and importance of these institutes. Got my point? Role and importance of these institutes. আমরা রোল বলবো তখন আমরা বলবো যে আমরা কি সাপোর্ট ইনস্টিটিউট থেকে পেয়ে থাকি। You will get a certificate from this institute, kind of facilities they provide, and how important it is to get a certificate from this particular institute. ঠিক আছে, আমরা আসলে সামনে আমরা ওয়ার্ল্ড র্যাঙ্কিং যেই সেগুলো আর বললাম না, বাট যদি র্যাঙ্ক করা যেতে হবে তাহলে যেমন আমরা টপ র্যাঙ্ক ইনস্টিটিউটে যদি সার্টিফিকেট তাহলে র্যাঙ্ক বা সিক্রেট ইনস্টিটিউটে সার্টিফিকেট দিলে তার ভ্যালু তো ভ্যালু হবে না। আমি আরেকটা জিনিস আমাদের এখানে একটু মাথায় রাখতে হবে, সেটা হচ্ছে যে প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজমেন্টের জন্য কোয়ালিটেটিভ যেমন কমপ্লিট culture is a big factor in the project management, because the team members that will help you to execute or complete your project. So the culture of the particular team members actually influence the projection of the activities. Why? Because যেমন আমরা জানি যে আমেরিকান তারা করে historically they believe in individualism. Am I clear? So তারা individualism পছন্দ করে। So আপনার টিম মেম্বার আমেরিকানস তারা বেশি রেগুলেট করতে পারবেন না, বেশি মনিটর করতে পারবেন, বাট ইউ হ্যাভ টু গিভ ফুল ফ্রিডম টু দ্যাট পারসন। ঠিক আছে, আবার এবার আমরা এখানে আমরা আমেরিকান কথা বলি অ্যাজ এ টিম মেম্বার দে আর সব বিকজ তারা trying to get the schooling education when they go in the kindergarten, তখন থেকেই কিন্তু তাদের group activities, group exercises এই ধরনের বিষয়গুলো তাদেরকে শেখানো হয়। And that's why if your members are Japanese, you are lucky, but if your members are American, so you are lucky because you will have little over their control. So culture is a big factor in the case of the management. So and that is why the certificate of one institute of one country is not well accepted in different countries. For example, আপনি Japanese Japanese certificate নিলেন, fantastic, you have completed, but you will be equally treated in America. That is not expected. Because cultural barriers আছে. So culture is a very soft issue, but still it's a very vital factor in case of management. So that's why different organization, different country, different pattern. They আবার কি for example আমাদের কথা বলি যাদের ক্ষেত্রে at a specific time থাকে, but you are not worried about that time. সময় নিয়ে ছয়টা ছাড়া so you are very much flexible about that time. আমরা কখনোই নিই যে কোনো একটা সময় শেষ within the budget. সবসময় time source করে budget source করে। So this is not the future of a project. Am I clear? কিন্তু আপনি যদি আমেরিকা বা জাপানিজ কোনো প্রজেক্ট কাজ করেন সেখানে দেখবেন everything will be completed within the specified time within the budget until or unless there is any exception. Am I clear? যদি কোনো contingent event না আসে, contingency না আসে, otherwise time বা budget resource সবকিছুই আপনাকে নির্দিষ্ট সময়ের উপরে শেষ করতে হবে। ঠিক আছে? So that is the thing. So that cultural difference, cultural barriers you have to keep in mind. So finally, what I suggested you to go through these project management certificates and project management institutions to get knowledge about all this. কারণ প্রত্যেকটা ইনস্টিটিউশনের different criteria আছে, different standard আছে, ঠিক আছে? In terms of practice, they have their different philosophy. So এগুলো হয় মানে তারা কিভাবে কাজ করে সেটার ইম্পর্টেন্স রোল কিরকম আসলে থেকে সার্টিফিকেশন হলে কতটা অ্যাকসেপ্টেড হবে, কতটা এক্সপেরিয়েন্স হবে, কতটা এক্সপার্ট আপনি হবেন, অ্যাকসেপ্টেড মোস্টলি অ্যাকসেপ্টেড হবে সেটা আসলে জানা দরকার। আর জিনিস একটু করতে হবে, আমি আগে বলেছি যে what kind of support actually they provide their professionals. ঠিক আছে, আপনি এখান থেকে সার্টিফিকেট নিলে ইনস্টিটিউট থেকে, but through the reference of this institute, whether any opportunity develop your career in project management or not, then you have to identify what. If you visit the institute's website, definitely you will get more information. What education study করবেন। Okay, next the path of success. If you want to be successful as a project manager, cultural বললাম, and at the same time, the personal characteristics of the project manager and the team members also influence the project execution. আমার যেহেতু একটা project planning কিরকম হলো, budget কিরকম, scope of person, but still the implementation can be different because that you will skills are different in different projects. অর্থাৎ একই budget একই রকম সবকিছু করে দেওয়া হলেও that outcome will vary because of the difference in the human skills. So human skills is another vital factor in case of project management. আপনি যত বড় ইনস্টিটিউটে সার্টিফিকেশন করেন, whatever the level of skills and experience you have, but still your personal characteristic, which is called persona, your personality has a great impact on your project activity. এটাকে অ্যাভয়েড করা যাবে না। যেমন ধরেন আমরা যখন personal characteristics এর কথা বলছি, so definitely we must talk about time management skill. যেমন আমরা কোন টাইম কিছু করতে পারলাম না, তো প্রজেক্ট ক্ষেত্রে আপনি জানি কিভাবে করবেন। আমার ক্লিয়ার? ঠিক আছে? Your resistance rate, your decision making quality, that is whether you are a quick decision maker or you take too much time, that your personal characteristics definitely influence the project execution. ঠিক আছে? যদি আপনি smart decision maker হন, আবার for example if your decision making process যেমন আমরা পরে এগুলো যেমন you can make decisions, we can select the, for example you have alternative concepts. One you have to select. So what is the method of selecting the project? কিভাবে project select করবেন? Quantitative methods are there and qualitative methods are there. So quantitative methods are basically database method where basically we judge the profitability of the project. You will calculate the time, you will calculate the profit of a particular project. Based on that, the highest order will be accepted. Am I clear? For example, if your period is low, that is after making the investment in a particular project, within 3 years you will get back the return. But at the same time, another project is there where you are investing it, but your payback period that is you will get the return after 5 years. In terms of time, you must select the less payback period time projects like which can be 3 years projects. So These are the quantitative methods. Am I clear? After 3 years, after 5 years, you will get the return. You convert the return into NP, at the net present value. অর্থাৎ আজকের দিনে সেটা মানে কি? যেমন আজকের দিনের 5,000 টাকা আর 5,000 টাকা after 3 years, after 4 years or after 5 years will not have the equivalent value. আজকের দিনে 5,000 টাকার ভ্যালু are due to change in interest rate, due to change in inflation rate, and due to change in exchange rate. All of these things, separately, the value of money will be decreased. So আজকে 5,000 টাকা আর আজকে 1 বছরের পরে 5,000 টাকা, 2 বছরের পরে 5,000, 3 বছরের পরে 5,000 টাকা, that has the same purchasing power. So that's why the value is decreasing gradually. আপনাকে কি করতে হবে? আপনি ওই ফিউচারে যে রিটার্নটা পাবেন সেটাকে আজকের দিনে কনভার্ট করে দেখতে হবে, মানে নেট রেজাল্ট দেখতে হবে যে ভবিষ্যতে আপনি 5,000 টাকা ইনভেস্ট করে ভবিষ্যতে 10,000 টাকা পাবেন। সো 10,000 টাকা আজকের দিনের ভ্যালু কত? এই রেজাল্ট ভ্যালুটা যেটা বেশি হবে, that project should be accepted. So these are the quantitative methods of selecting project. But definitely there are certain project managers who select the project based on their gut feelings. Got my point? Probably their experience, based on their experience, hypothetically they select a particular project. But এরকম যেটাকে project selection বলে। In that case, যেটা হয় যে boss যেটাকে ভালো মনে করলেন সেটাকে সিলেক্ট করলেন। এখন boss selected the project, সেটাকেই pursue করতে হবে। Until or unless the boss himself do understand that the decision was wrong and should stop the project, ততক্ষণ পর্যন্ত সেটাকেই pursue করতে হবে। এই project selection so it depends on the personality, depends on the personal characteristics of the project manager. So like culture, the personal characteristics of the project managers also influence the project execution. So what would be the path of success? If you see the formula, this is a very this is a very simple formula, nothing complex. For example, you need knowledge, you need experience, and then your performance will be multiplied with your personalities, your characteristics, and finally the result will be the success. It can be due to, for example, you are knowledgeable, that is you have theoretical understanding and expertise in a particular field or subject area. You know the facts, you know the concepts, you know the principles, you know the strategies that you have learned through your formal education or from your research or from your study or everything. So you have experience, you have experience, that is you have the practical knowledge of what is I say, practical knowledge of applying that knowledge to gain of time. So you know the practical real world situation. So different times when you were working, you encountered different challenges. You did mistakes. You refined your mistakes. You refined your skills and all these things. That is your experience. So you have knowledge, you have experience. But performance, that is the success, is not all about your knowledge and experience. Rather, your personal characteristics, that is your traits, your way of presentation to others, your emotional intelligence, your communication skill, your leadership abilities, and your ability to inspire and motivate your team members. All these qualities actually will be multiplied with your performance. That is the actual execution of task and the ability to deliver the results. So if the result of your personal and performance is zero, theoretically, that is according to the equation, your result will be partial. Because out of these 4 factors like knowledge, experience, persona and performance, out of these 4 factors, 5 factors are missing: persona and performance. So as these 2 are missing, so your knowledge and experience will not bring the success. So you must have knowledge, you must have experience, and then your personal characteristics will dictate, you will decide your performance. And finally, you will be successful or you will fail. If you can't deliver, if you can't deliver the exact performance that is required for the success of the project implementation. These four factors importantly you should keep in mind. As I said, personal characteristics is one of the strong variable that actually influence the performance or success of any project. Am I clear? So as a project manager, to be certified from reputed institutions, but still his personal characteristics, like for example, he doesn't have the emotional stability. What does it mean, emotional stability? It is also called neuroticism. That is uh, when he fails, he becomes his nervous breaks down. So what is the result? That is he can't control his emotion. But if you want to be a project leader, project manager, your emotional stability is a must because failure can happen. You have to find out, rectify the failure instead of switching, instead of crying. But your personal characteristics is one of the denominator of identifying or specifying your success. Got my point? So this is the very simple rule of becoming success in the career path of the project management. Got my point? So certification and institution will not ensure everything. Personally, you have to be that kind of person. You have to be determined. You have to be confident. You have to be rational. You have to have the conscientiousness that is you think based on the rational judgment instead of intuition, instead of your hypothecation. So your personal characteristics is highly influential in your career success in business management. So if this is our next slide, that is the next topic, the special demands of project management. Special demands of project management. Okay, আচ্ছা আমি একটু 5 minutes এর break ঠিক আছে? You don't mind. I will have a 5 minutes break. Am I?
Yes, ma'am. আমাদের ক্লাস আর কতক্ষণ হতে পারে ম্যাম?
Class এখন অনেক সময় বাকি। It's only 4:35.
ওকে ম্যাম।
Okay. হয়তো আমাদের একদম 6 p.m. পর্যন্ত হয়তো সময় নাও লাগতে পারে। If you can complete, if we can cover the topic earlier, then class will be. Okay. 5 minutes break, please.
ওকে ম্যাম।
Okay. হ্যালো,
জি ম্যাডাম।
হ্যাঁ, শুনতে পাচ্ছি না।
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so probably this is the last topic today, that is the special demands of project management. So, special demands, as we have seen, the difference between the function of a particular functional manager and the project manager. So, we got some sort of ideas about the functions of the project managers and the expectations from the project managers, how they should be trained themselves, and at the same time, how they should get the project done. And to do that, they need to be a good leader. They must have the generalized idea about the project management. They must have the proper persona to conduct the project effectively and efficiently. But still, some special demands are here in case of project management. Why? Because project management actually involves various complexities, because this is a very short-term endeavor. This is a very separate endeavor, unlike the continuous function or activities of any particular organization. So that's why complexities are various. Different kinds of complexities are there. Conflict and complexities are always there. So that's why there are some unique demands that are required, uh, that require a wide range of skill from the part of the project manager. So we have mentioned few of them according to your textbook. For example, first of all, you can see the acquiring adequate resources. That is the first challenge. You can see as demand as challenge in both ways. This is the first challenge or the first special demand from the part of project manager, that is acquiring adequate resources. You do understand? Acquiring adequate resources actually is a process of ensuring that the project has the necessary physical, human, financial resources just to comply with the time, scope, and the budget. Definitely to close the project at the specified time. Definitely, the project managers need to acquire the resources that is most important for the execution of a project. But in case of doing that, lot of challenges are there. For example, project managers need to identify the what resources are needed actually, and to secure them in time. That is when the resources are required, your resources must be there. Just-in-time approach is the best approach for project management. So you have to ensure your required resources are available at the time. Not only the resources, you need the skilled personnel. You must be efficient enough to allocate your budgets. You have to acquire the equipments and technologies in time. You have to eliminate the constraints in your environment when you are executing the project. So, a lot of things are there actually. So, in that case, actually, the project managers must closely work with the upper managers and the departments, that is the functional managers, to justify and acquire resources. If you focus on the slide here, you can see some barriers, some limitations, or some struggles in this phase. For example, most of the time, project budgets are insufficient. Why? Because natural optimism of the project prospects, and at the same time, the deliberate and unethical understatement for funding the project. If you focus on the second point, deliberate and unethical understatement for funding the budget, what does it mean? That is, ethical perspective of a project manager is also part of the successful execution of the project management. Am I clear? If you make the inflated budget or understated budget, so both are injurious for the execution of the project. So that's why you have to be very careful about your budgeting. Budget, this is the numerical expression of your plan. So budget doesn't mean it is all about the financial issues. Actually, that budget includes your time, your resources, your financial and non-financial resources must be included here. But my point, sometimes you have to make trade-off of your resources. For example, you can acquire 5 team members and you can replace the 5 members with a particular machine. অর্থাৎ 5জন লোক আপনি নিতে পারেন আপনার টিমে, অথবা instead of that 5 members আপনি একটা টেকনোলজিও নিয়ে নিতে পারেন যে টেকনোলজি ওই 5জন মেম্বারকে রিপ্লেস করবে। So you have to make the trade-off. Not only that, যে শুধু টিম মেম্বার আর টেকনোলজিক্যাল ট্রেড-অফ না, ট্রেড-অফ আরো অনেক জায়গায় আছে। ফর এক্সাম্পল, 3 main aspect of any project management is time, scope and resources. So কখনো কখনো ওই 3টে জায়গাতেও you have to make the trade-off, যে আপনার বাজেট, আপনার টাইম এই দুটোর সাথে হচ্ছে না, ঠিক আছে, অ্যাডজাস্ট হচ্ছে না, they are not running parallelly. So in that case either আপনাকে কোনো একটাকে trade-off করতে হবে, হয়তো সময়টা আপনাকে ছাড় দিতে হবে as you are not getting the resources on time. So automatically your project will be delayed. But that must be according to your decision. এটা এমন না যে আচ্ছা এটা চলতে থাকুক, হতে থাকুক, যা হয় হবে। This is not like that. You have to make the decision যে আপনি কি একটু সময় বাড়াবেন প্রজেক্টের as you are not getting the resources on time, তাহলে কি একটু সময়টা বাড়িয়ে আপনি রিসোর্স অ্যালোকেট করবেন, নাকি you will pursue the time frame rather considering the absence of resources. ঠিক আছে, যে রিসোর্স আমার নাই, যদি সেটাকে ছাড়া চলে তাহলে সেটা দিয়ে আমি কাজ করবো, definitely it will hamper the ultimate scope of the project. Scope means the outcome of the project. So if there is resource limitation, so automatically it will shrink the outcome of the project. That is, scope will be shrinked. Scope কমে যাবে, ঠিক আছে, outcome কমে যাবে। So আপনি কি সময়টাকে কনসিডার করবেন, সময়টাকে বাড়াবেন, নাকি মিনিমাম রিসোর্স নিয়ে কাজ করবেন, নাকি স্কোপটাকে ইনট্যাক্ট রাখবেন? এই যে 3টে ফ্যাক্টরের মধ্যে ট্রেড অফ করা, if there is any challenge, if there is any constraint, that decision you have to take. Sometimes you have to go for subcontracting, that is, you have to appoint the subcontractor. But if you do outsource or offshoring of your project activities, in that case you have to be careful, because you have to carefully instruct that outsiders so that their activities also comply with your total project image. Got my point? আপনি যদি কোনো একটা পার্টিকুলার কাজ instead of doing yourself আপনি যদি সেটাকে সাবকন্ট্রাক্ট করে দেন বা আউটসোর্স করেন, তাহলে সেক্ষেত্রেও কিন্তু টোটাল রেসপন্সিবিলিটি লাইজ অন দ্য প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজার, যাতে করে ওই আউটসোর্স অ্যাক্টিভিটিস আলটিমেটলি সেটা প্রজেক্টের যে মেইন ইমেজ অথবা মেইন স্ট্রিম সেটার সাথে যেন এটা কমপ্লায়েন্ট হয়। এছাড়াও improper synchronization of time and budget. Sometimes it happens যে কখনো কখনো একটা সময় নিয়ে হয়তো আপনি কাজ শুরু করলেন, ডিউ টু সাম ইমার্জেন্সি টাইমটাকে কমিয়ে দিতে হতে পারে। This is not from your part, as you are directed from your organization, from your client. So based on the requirement of your client, হতে পারে যে বাজেটটাকে একটু কাটতে হতে পারে, টাইমটাকে একটু কমাতে হতে পারে, অথবা অপোজিট। So whatever the fact is that you have to be adaptive enough to adjust all these issues. But the main challenge always will be there, that is the win-loss proposition with your functional managers, because each and everything you have to grab from the functional manager. So always there is a conflict of interest. Am I clear? মানে ফাংশনাল ম্যানেজারের কাছ থেকে আপনাকে রিসোর্স গুলো নিতে হবে, ঠিক আছে, ফাংশনাল ম্যানেজারের কাছ থেকে আপনার টিম মেম্বার অ্যাকোয়ার করতে হবে। So there will be always a conflict, win-win game or win-loss game. There will be a game always with the functional manager. So what is the expectation actually? Expectation is that project managers always must work closely with the upper managements and the functional managers, that is with the particular departments, to justify and acquire the resources. অর্থাৎ আপনি overstated অথবা inflated যেরকম বাজেটই আপনি করে থাকেন না কেন, you are ethically right. So definitely you have made the justified budget, and you have to make your upper management and the departmental heads convinced about your project, about your budget, so that they can help you. Got my point? So definitely when you are as a project manager, when you are planning about your resources, you are estimating your cost, definitely you have to negotiate with the functional managers as well as all other stakeholders like clients, your team members, upper level management. You have to talk with all, you have to negotiate with all these people to get the necessary support on time. Got my point? So instead of doing each and everything by your own or keeping inside you, rather you have to share the rationality of your project. If particularly you have to convince the plan, convince the particular stakeholders about your plan so that they become convinced and provide necessary support. So this is the special demand for this project management. Okay, and particularly project managers are uh, responsible for fulfilling this particular demand, that is acquiring the adequate resources. Got my point? If the second point is acquiring and motivating personnel. Just I have said that there is always a conflict between the functional manager and the project manager. Why? Because uh, event managers, that is the project managers, need to select the right people at the right time with the right skill and expertise for the project. Okay, and definitely project manager need to motivate all these people so that they can ensure that the team stays engaged and productive. So to do that, right type of people they need to hire for the event, for the project. So to do that, definitely they have to talk with the functional managers. Got my point? Because people needed for a project must be borrowed. কারণ প্রজেক্টের জন্য আলাদা করে লোক নয়, rather that people must be borrowed. এই borrowed ওয়ার্ডটাকে আমি দুইভাবে ক্লারিফাই করতে পারি. Either you can borrow that people from all other functional departments for your event, for your project. Otherwise, you can get some contractual outsourced people for your project. 3 মাস 6 মাস অথবা একটা ইন্টারভ্যালে রিনিউয়াল করে আপনি এরকম টিম মেম্বার আপনি অ্যাকোয়ার করতে পারেন যদি your organization support you. ঠিক আছে, যদি অর্গানাইজেশনে সেই ফিনান্সিয়াল ক্রেডিবিলিটি থাকে and allows you to acquire people from the outside of your organization, and the job of that particular outsiders will be pretty much contractual, যাতে করে ইভেন্ট শেষ হওয়ার সাথে সাথে তারা চলে যায়। অনেক সময় আমরা টিভিতে দেখি এরকম যে অনেক কন্ট্রাকচুয়াল জব যখন ওভার হয়ে যায়, টাইম ওভার হয়ে যায়, তো অর্গানাইজেশন এদেরকে অ্যাবজর্ব না করে এদেরকে ছাঁটাই করে, রিট্রান্স করে। সো দে ডু প্রোটেস্ট, but actually there is no scope of protesting because as the job is based on the contract. So in case of project management, either you can acquire that people from the organization or from the outside, but if you get from the outside, you have to make a strong contract with that outsider so that you can take legal initiatives in case of any emergencies or contingencies. Okay, project manager cannot promise much beyond the challenge, so motivation is difficult. Am I clear? As I said, project managers are not like functional managers. They don't have the discretionary power. Their power is very much limited. That's why positive and negative, both kind of motivation cannot be applied with the team members like the functional managers. For example, if you do better, functional manager can reward you, but at the same time, if you fail, they can give punishment. But project manager has no right to give punishment. Rather, the only way they have, that is to motivate their people. As they're getting different people from different sides, from different culture and different background with different persona, so it's really very tough to motivate these different kinds of people, that is diversified type of people. One important and common things always happen in case of event management, project management, that is the conflict. When you are forming the team, project team, that is new project team, so conflict is a common factor. Why? Because people are from diversified backgrounds, so definitely they may have the different designations, different area of expertise, different what should I say, different characteristics. Some people are pretty much arrogant, some are antagonistic, some are very much liberal, adaptive, agreeable. So people have different characteristics. So definitely when you are forming the new project team, some challenges you will face like conflicts. So in that case, you have to follow the process of managing your team. The common format of team management is forming, storming, norming, and performing and adjourning. What does it mean? That is, in the initial stage of team formation, sorry, at the initial stage of your team formation, definitely as people are from different background, they have different ideas, different experience. So it's difficult to regulate people. So what you can do, you just bring the team members together, and you have to give opportunity to your team members to learn by themselves. Just your responsibility will be to allocate the roles and responsibilities among the team members. This is called forming, that is formation of your team. অর্থাৎ ইনিশিয়াল স্টেজে টিম মেম্বারের যে বিভিন্ন ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড থেকে এসছে, হ্যাভিং ডিফারেন্ট ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড বা ডিফারেন্ট এক্সপিরিয়েন্স, সো তাদেরকে প্রথমে একসাথে হতে দিতে হবে, ঠিক আছে? দে উইল মিট ইচ আদার, প্রত্যেকের জায়গা থেকে প্রত্যেকেই ভেরি মাচ স্ট্রং অ্যান্ড স্ট্রিক্ট, বাট স্টিল যখন তারা একসাথে কাজ করবে, দেয়ার মাস্ট বি দ্য টিম স্পিরিট। বাট একদম ইনিশিয়ালি you shouldn't expect the team spirit, because you have to develop that spirit before that, at the initial stage of team formation, which is called forming. Okay, first stage of team formation. So you have to allocate, you have to give time to meet with each other, and then you have to allocate the roles and responsibilities among the team members, so they can start learning, number one. At the second phase of that team formation, you have to go for storming. Am I clear? That is, at that phase, that is the second stage of that team formation, the project begins. That is, work on the project will begin. Okay, but at the initial stage, the team members will tend to work independently. Am I clear? And that is the reason which often leads to conflict. যেহেতু তারা independently কাজ করতে শুরু করে, as they are allocated, their roles and responsibilities are clarified, so they start working independently, and that is the main source of conflict. But you have to minimize that conflict and turn into the team spirit. How can you do that? Then you can go for norming, that is the third stage. Got my point? At the third stage of this team formation, gradually the team cohesiveness will develop. How? Because individual team members will get opportunity to reconcile their behavior to support the overall team, and then the trust develops among the team members. Got my point? Because when they start working, they will find that once absolute performance is not enough for the overall performance of the project. Got my point? Because everyone is doing the partial task of the total project. So that doesn't make any sense. The combined result, the accumulated result will bring the final success. So that they will start understanding, and that's why at the third phase of this team formation, actually the social cohesiveness, the group cohesiveness, supporting each other, team spirit, trust of the relationship, all this happens at the third phase of this team formation. And finally, at the last stage, they will start performing as they have some norms, they have the trust which is established through their journey, and finally the team will be functional. Got my point? So this is one of the most important factor, most important demand for the project management, that is from the project manager, to form the team. Am I clear? Because project is a teamwork. This is not like the functional activity of a particular department where there will be hierarchy, there will be boss and subordinate. Boss is always right. All these vague concepts are not applicable in case of project management. So that's why team spirit is a must. Am I clear? And automatically at the initial stage that will not be happen. Got my point? So definitely, as they are hired or acquired from different sources, so it will take time, some stages, and it doesn't mean that it will take 6 months, 1 year, or a long time. Probably the event is of 1 year, project is of 1 year. So in that case, it must take a minimum time to form, storm, norm, and perform ultimately. But fifth stage is also there, but that is after performing the activities, that is at the end of the event, at the end of the project, all these people will go back to their, that is, they will return to their functional departments, or they will move on to the another project. If they are contractual employee, contractual team members, so they will be outside of the organization. So these are the process of formation of team, which is a very critical job of a project manager, and success of any project actually depends on this team spirit. Got my point? So in this case, the personal characteristics of project manager, just I said earlier, the persona actually indicates the performance. Got my point? Okay. So next point you can see, that is dealing with obstacles. Dealing with obstacles. Lot of obstacles will be there. Lot of contingency, unexpected, unforeseen things can be happened. For example, in the construction sector, commonly we see that some external parties are there to make uh, the project delayed. They have lot of contributions. Am I clear? So many things. Shortage of labor can be option. Shortage of resources. For example, your money is sanctioned, but still you are not getting the materials on time due to your supplier. So problems from the suppliers, problems from the team members. For example, one of your team member is sick, becomes sick. So what would be the alternative? So lot of contingencies may be there, but you have to focus on your time and scope, and definitely you have the resources to always, you have to make trade-off, and you have to make the balance of all these things. You have to be adaptive, you have to be ready. Your mindset will be like that. Anytime, any problems, any troubles can be there, and that you have to manage. Am I clear? So that's why sometimes the team members can make brainstorm to identify the unknown problems that they will have to encounter. Got my point? For example, from the mind of the project manager may not come each and everything. So there can be a brainstorming session with the team members. What contingencies or what unexpected things can be happened. So প্রত্যেকের মাথা থেকে কিছু না কিছু এরকম unexpected জিনিস আসবে. So that's why if you focus on the slide, what is written here, instead of writing any detail, just I have mentioned this. NASA were asked about how do you motivate astronauts. So they answered, we don't motivate them, but boy, we are careful about whom we select. That is the right type, right characteristics of the person. That is the persona of the project manager. That is important. He is calm, quite intelligent, technical, so he can manage all these obstacles, and that is important. Am I clear? So problem solving skill or problem management skill is a must for a project manager. This is highly demanded. So if we go through the next point, next demand for the project management, that is making project goal trade-off. Yes, this is a very common phenomena in most of the events, because definitely we make some plans and we try to move according to our plan, but as there may be some obstacles, so we have to make certain trade-offs. We have to make trade-offs of our goals. For example, we have specific time, we have specific cost, and our scope. Scope is outcome, schedule is time, cost, that is the resources. So when, how you will use the time and the resources, that actually depends on your credibility. That is, depends on the credibility of the project managers. If you can recall the different shapes of project life cycle, you can understand why the project life cycle is S-shaped. Because at the initial phase of starting a project, it takes time, because planning takes time, team formation takes time, gathering resource takes time. But after gathering all these things, ensuring all these things, the execution phase takes minimum time. So that's why the life cycle goes straight upward, and after that, at the last phase, it takes minimum time because takes maximum time because packing up the project or ending up the project is another important phase which takes time and cost because এক এক প্রজেক্টের এক এক রকম যেমন if it is a highly sophisticated technical project তাহলে কি হবে after end of the project definitely you have to give training, you have to prepare the modules, and you have to make understand the users of that technologies. Lot of duties are there to close the event, close the project. Got my point? You have to eliminate the scraps, and lot of things are there to pack up the project. Got my point? So based on that, when you will spend your time at the initial phase or the ending phase or at the execution level, that is one thing. And at the same time, whether you will sacrifice your cost or time or your scope, that is another thing. So these two things, that is the life cycle stages and the scopes of the that is the three important factors of the projects, they have a matrix. Sometimes you have to give high importance to something. For example, at the initial phase of any project, when you are forming, that is you are getting up, you are planning and doing the startup preparation for the project, at that time you have to give high importance to the cost. And at the same time, at the phase out stage, when you are ending your project, you have to give high importance to the scope, because আপনি যখন প্রজেক্ট শুরু করছেন তখন কস্ট হচ্ছে আপনার ফোকাস, যে আপনি বাজেটের মধ্যে কাজটা করতে পারছেন কিনা। কিন্তু যখন ইউ আর এন্ডিং আপ ইউর প্রজেক্ট, তখন কিন্তু আপনার প্রায়োরিটি হবে আপনার স্কোপ, অর্থাৎ এই যে প্রজেক্ট, এই যে সময়, এই যে রিসোর্সেস, এত কিছু এটার পেছনে ইনভেস্ট করা হলো, whether you could achieve the expected outcome or not, that will be evaluated by the clients, by the stakeholders. So সেই এক্সামিনেশনটা আপনাকে পাস করতে হবে। সো দ্যাটস ওয়াই সেখানে স্কোপটা হয়তো ইম্পর্টেন্ট। তাহলে কোথায় আপনি কোনটাকে বেশি ইম্পর্টেন্স দেবেন, that is also a very critical part of project management, and project managers are responsible to do that, as you know. Okay, after that, for example, attributes of effective project managers. I don't want to mention these once again because definitely lot of skills, lot of qualities are important here. To make the project effective. For example, the credibility, the technical credibility and administrative credibility of the project manager, his sensitivity, that is his rationality. Got my point? Then his leadership quality, ethics. Just I mentioned about the overstated budget. Probably you can recall. So his ethical point, his moral, his management style, whether he is dominating, antagonistic, or he do follow the paternalistic leadership style. All these things actually influence the effectiveness of project management. So that's why project managers' personal attributes, that is personal characteristics, has great impact on the project execution. Lastly, you can see the ability to handle stress. Just I have said about the neuroticism, that is the emotional stability. If he is nervous, if he face any problem or conflict or contingencies in the project execution and he become nervous, so the result will be zero. So he must have the capability of handling the stress. Got my point? So these are the facts actually indicates the project manager's personal characteristics which are crucial for the execution of a project. Got my point? Here you can see the list of some competency, intellectual, managerial and emotional. 15 characteristics are incorporated here. You can go through all this. Just because these are involving the managerial capability, intellectual, that is the level of intelligence, and emotional stability. Emotion, because motivation is part of emotion. One thing I must say, in my childhood, আমি অনেকটা সময় পর্যন্ত, মানে চাইল্ডহুড বলবো না, অনেকটা বড় হওয়া পর্যন্ত আমি জাস্ট ভাবতাম ইমোশন মানে হচ্ছে কান্না। If somebody is crying, so I feel that he is becoming emotional. হাসি অথবা চুপ থাকা, ঠিক আছে, অথবা এই বিষয়গুলো বা কাউকে ইনফ্লুয়েন্স করা, ঠিক আছে, এই বিষয়গুলো অথবা রেশনাল জাজমেন্ট, এগুলোও যে পার্ট অফ ইমোশন, সেটা আমি বুঝতেই পারিনি। আমি অনেক বড় হওয়ার পর বুঝতে পেরেছি যে ইমোশন মানে শুধু হাসি। প্রথমে তো কান্নাকেই ভাবতাম ইমোশন, পরে ভাবলাম যে হাসি কান্না এগুলো আসলে হাসি কান্না ছাড়াও একজন মানুষের যে সাইকোলজিক্যাল সিস্টেম, his attitude, his perception, his understanding, his personality, all these factors are part of the emotional quality. Got my point? So all these factors actually influence the successful execution of a project. So this is all about today. Hope you understand. Do you have any query? Hello? Hello?
ইয়েস ম্যাম, শোনা যাচ্ছে।
আচ্ছা, কোনো কোয়েরি আছে? যদি কোনো কোয়েরি না থাকে তাহলে আমি এখন শেষ করব। আর কোয়েশ্চেন প্যাটার্ন সম্পর্কে তো আগেও বলেছি, আবারও বলছি যে প্রবাবলি ফ্রম দিস চ্যাপ্টার আই উইল গিভ আ শর্ট কেস, মানে খুব বেশি বড় কেস আমি দেব না, বাট কন্টেন্ট উইল বি লাইক দিস। am I clear? এটার উপর বেস করে হয়তো কেস আমি একটা দেব। আর সেকেন্ড বলেছি যে শর্ট অ্যান্সার কোয়েশ্চেন আমি রাখবো 2-3টা, ঠিক আছে। হয়তো অ্যাজ ইউর এক্সাম ইজ অফ 15 মার্কস, তাহলে হয়তো 50% মার্কস ক্যারি করবে কেস, যে কেসের মধ্যে হয়তো 2 থেকে 3টা কোয়েশ্চেন থাকবে, আর তার সাথে হয়তো 2টো শর্ট অ্যান্সার কোয়েশ্চেন থাকবে। সো অল টুগেদার ইউ হ্যাভ টু অ্যান্সার 5 কোয়েশ্চেন্স, and probably all question will carry the equal weightage, equal marks, but still you must read the instruction in the question paper. Got my point? I have a bitter experience, একটা অভিজ্ঞতা আছে। মানে আমার খুব পছন্দের বলবো না, মানে ক্লাসের একজন ভালো ছাত্র মানে হু ইজ রেগুলার, অ্যাটেন্টিভ, পরীক্ষায়ও ভালো করে, এরকম ভালো ছাত্র, সে মিড টার্মে খারাপ করেছে। খারাপ মানে যাচ্ছে তাই এরকমের খারাপ, যার জন্য তার গ্রেডও চলে গেছে। তার কারণ কি? কারণ একটাই, কারণ হচ্ছে আমি যখন ক্লাসে ডিসকাস করছিলাম যে কোশ্চেন প্যাটার্ন কেমন হবে, কয়টা কোশ্চেন দেবো না দেবো, একরকম বলেছি, কিন্তু পরীক্ষায় গিয়ে হয়তো আমি কোশ্চেন টাইপ ঠিক আছে, বাট নাম্বার অফ কোশ্চেন্স আমি চেঞ্জ করে দিয়েছি। আমি অ্যান্সার করতে বলেছি 3 out of 5, সরি 5 out of 6 অথবা 5 out of 7। ক্লাসে বলেছি 3টে হয়তো অ্যান্সার করতে হতে পারে, পরীক্ষার হলে আর ইনস্ট্রাকশন না পড়ে 3টে অ্যান্সার করে চলে এসছে। সো ইনকমপ্লিট অ্যান্সার, দ্যাটস ওয়াই হি গট পোর মার্কস এবং আলটিমেটলি হি লস্ট দ্য গুড গ্রেড। সো সেই জন্য আপনাদের বলছি যে আমি যাই বলছি না বলছি, প্লিজ very carefully must go through the question and instructions, and after that you must start writing. Got my point?
ম্যাম কেস থাকলে কেসের উপর বেস করে কেমন টাইপের প্রশ্ন থাকতে পারে? জাস্ট এক্সাম্পল।
আচ্ছা, ফর এক্সাম্পল আমি একটা কেস আপনাদেরকে করতে দিয়েছি, মনে আছে?